Trainspotters.
Andrew, the old goods engine, returned from the works cleaner than ever and was ready to start work. One of his first jobs was to wait for a goods train to climb the hill and take the trucks on, giving the other engine a chance to rest. He was waiting in the sidings when Edward bustled in with a goods train from the branch. But before either engine could say hello, they heard a commotion from the yard. "Oi!" shouted the foreman. "Get off! This is railway property!" Two boys with notepads and pencils bolted away over the tracks and through a gate. Edward and Andrew looked at each other very surprised. "What was all that about?" Andrew asked. Edward smiled. "Those were train spotters. They're harmless, but some have a habit of being where they shouldn't." "So I can see," Andrew replied. "I heard you had to chase James down thanks to a couple of those boys." "Yes," Edward said cautiously, "but rarely does that ever happen." Andrew wasn't sure. "Well, I hope it doesn't. They'll cause all sorts of havoc. What if they slipped off a truck's brakes?" Edward knew it best not to respond, and left his own trucks to rest. Andrew continued to keep an eye out when he was in the yard. He would always wheesh steam at boys leaning on fences, or scurry away if they got too close to the platform. Every time he met another engine, he would always warn them, "Keep them at bay," the old engine would say gravely, "else they'll waltz into your shed thinking they can do anything." Most engines thought he was overreacting, but Andrew was surprised to learn both James and Henry agreed with him. "Keep them far away from the yards, that's what I say. And bridges," Henry finished. It soon became something of a sport for young boys. Soon they were always trying to take down Andrew's number whilst he wasn't looking. The old engine was on high alert. He tried his best to get on with his work, but it was quickly taking a toll. "They'll get tired of it soon," Andrew yawned one evening. "So will you if you keep letting this distract you from your work," worried his driver. The old engine harumphed. "I'm not distracted. I'm being vigilant." "Well, you can be vigilant whilst we talk to the signalman. Our train should have arrived by now." The two men went to find out what was wrong, and Andrew made sure he was alone. He then closed his eyes to get some quick sleep. Andrew was tired, but he'd never admit that his driver was right. It was at that moment that two boys arrived at the yard. They had asked their parents if they could stay out for a bit longer, and ran to the fence when their parents said they could. With pen and paper in hand, they scanned the yard for numbers to take down when they spotted Andrew. "They won't believe us when we show 'em we got his number," one said. His younger brother agreed. "We'll be the bee's knees at school." The two were about to turn back home, but the older noticed something. Andrew was moving off. He was still asleep and barely making a sound. "Look!" he cried. "He's rolling away. You think they've noticed?" "I'm not sure. We should wait to find out." The younger boy scrambled over the fence and sprinted towards Andrew. His older brother called out, "Stop! We'll get in trouble!" This woke Andrew up. He immediately locked his gaze onto the older boy. "Oi! Get out of..." It was then he noticed he was rolling by himself. "Help! Someone stop me!" he cried. Andrew's crew heard the commotion and came out to see what was wrong.
They ran towards their engine, who was picking up speed as he rolled through the yards and towards the main line. The boy in the cab was frantic. He didn't feel so brave now and wasn't sure which of Andrew's controls was the right one. The boy quickly pulled the lever, hoping it would work. With a hiss of steam and a sudden jolt, there was a sigh of relief. He had stopped Andrew just before the main line.
The boy's older brother ran towards the engine, where the crew were investigating what had happened. "Well now, what happened here, Andrew?" But it was the older boy who spoke first. "Your engine was running away," he said. "He might have rolled into a big engine." Andrew's crew looked at each other. "Well, did you ever? We must thank your brother for saving our tired old engine from a nasty accident." The young boy beamed proudly. "Tell you what," said the driver, "would you like to drive Andrew back to the yard? I'm sure you wouldn't mind." "Oh, yes, please," the two boys said. Andrew's driver must have caught the dirty look on his engine's face. "Steady, old man," he soothed. "I'll make sure there's no trouble this time." The two boys had a wonderful time as they took Andrew back to the sidings. The old engine remained respectfully silent. And he remained silent as for days afterwards the bigger engines would tease him and talk about engines who waltz out of yards thinking they can go anywhere.